Matt Lenihan Boxing Social in association with Empire Fight Store are Kings. We've been joined by Spencer Fearon. Spencer, how are we, my mate? It's been a while since we caught up.
Yeah, it has been. But yeah, I'm good. I'm even better for speaking to you, my friend. May I say to all my Muslim brothers and sisters, Eid Mubarak. You know what I mean? But yeah, I'm good. How are you, mate?
Can't grumble. I've been around a bit. We're in, where was I? I was in Vegas last week for Mayor Ryan. Yeah,
Yeah,
been traveling about.
good fight, right?
Yeah, cracking main event. You know what? Good undercard as well. Some very good performances. Shu Carrington looks a very good fighter. Brian
Yes,
Norman Jr.
that, that Shushu, he's yeah. I mean, he's one to watch, I would say.
Yeah, very good guy, good talker as well. So I think he's very sellable as well when he gets into these big fights, which is exciting.
Mm, mm.
We could touch on that fight card in a bit. I want to touch on the fight card this week, though. I think often when a main event fight or one half of it falls through, it's often hard to build it up as the same or to have the same narrative. I feel like Dillian White's exit and Filip Hrgovic's introduction almost has the same narrative of this is still a crossroads fight, this is still a big fight, and although it's nice when you get an all British clash, this is still a very good fight on Saturday night.
Do you know what? To be honest with you, right? Because Dylan White's British and we're waiting to see what Dylan White. Dylan White hasn't boxed in a hot minute. He had one fight in a few years, right? Which was a very entertaining fight with Tete. That was
Yeah,
a very entertaining fight in Gibraltar, right? But we haven't seen we haven't he has been continuous in his progress, right?
mm-hmm.
Um and Hrgovic came up second best to Daniel Dubois. And we're wondering like what Hrgovic has got left because we've seen what Daniel Dubois has gone on to do. But we also got to be honest and say, well, what has Joe Joyce got left, right?
Mm-hmm.
So this is a mega crossroads fight of men that have been more active than Dylan White. I'm gutted that Dylan White's not on there. My close Dylan's family, right? But this is still a very, very good fight and a fight that, um, yeah, massive crossroads for both men.
Does this? I mean, it's always a fighter's choice and it's a personal decision, but at the top level, does this sort of end it for one or the other, depending on manner of defeat and how it goes? Or
Um, we could say that, but and this is the thing. What I want people to realize is this: how many times did we used to say that this is the end for Derek Chisora, and he's still here,
very valid point.
right? And we can go back 12 years, right?
Yeah,
It's at the end for Derek, and he's still here, right? And still and manages to pull out great victories. So it's nobody to turn around and say, well, this is going to be the end for this guy. This is. I mean, I've said that in the past about guys, and they've come back and done brilliantly. So no, it's down to the individual and their desire. So it's about who. It's very cliche, but it is literally who wants it. And if you want it, then we're going to see that you want it. Come fight night.
what did you make of the pre-fight build-up for the undercard, the top of the undercard? I mean, I was there in person. We know what David Adelaide brings to the table in terms of how he's wired up when it comes to fight week. Jamie TKV, these two are familiar with each other in a sense that I think they had that sort of speaking relationship outside the ring. I believe they've sparred before, but the temperature got turned up at the press conference. How excited are you for this British heavyweight title fight? I'm buzzing for it.
They turned it up and they broke the knob because that was genuine beef there. They weren't, you know, then people, oh yeah, it's just like they must have been told to, no, no, no,
No.
no. That was genuine beef, right? And because of that, and this is what happens. You know what you're gonna get with David Adelaide because he's just that guy in it, right? But I'm gonna be totally honest with you guys. He's actually really, really good-hearted. He's a very nice kid, right? It's just that when he's got to be up against opponents, it happens. And so Jamie TKV. Jamie's a really nice guy,
Mm-hmm.
Seriously, a really respectful, nice, humble guy. But we're training. Adrenaline is running, fluids, and like you also then understand the importance of becoming British champion. It is a massive accomplishment and a massive achievement for any guy. Furthermore, just to challenge for it, but yet to go and say that you're fighting and your main aspiration is to win it, it's a big thing.
And also, you know what the sort of doors that unlocks. We've seen the likes of Fabio Wardley in recent years, the big fights that leads to, the dust-ups with Fraser Clark. He now looks like he's bouncing on to fight, I believe, a Kubrat Pulev, which is sort of that bridge filler, depending on obviously what Pulev's got left. But, it sort of kicks you onto them next levels, doesn't it? A British title.
Of course it does. Of course it does. And we've had great men that's held the title in the past. So because we've had these great men in the past that were British champion, you know what I mean? It is something, because arguably our greatest fighter ever to come out of Great Britain in Frank Bruno was Frank Bruno. Frank Bruno didn't win the title, and I got mixed up. I was actually going to say Lennox Lewis, no disrespect to Frank Bruno, right? But I'm saying actually Lennox Lewis. Lennox Lewis became British champion when he defeated Gary Mason March of 1991. So it's one of those kind of things where we're looking at it and saying, like, we know the importance, and Lennox is top 5 greatest heavyweights of all time. So you can see, like, that's part of the stepping stone, right? You're going to look at it and say, right, yeah, you know what I mean? Tyson Fury is British champ. So we got to look at those things and think, like, yeah, I get it, you know?
Yeah.
I do. I get it. And obviously you got your aspirations.
I need to ask you, what do you make of this whole contract dispute between Ben Whittaker and Liam Cameron? So when this came out, I thought this will be a 10-round fight. Liam reveals it was 12. You're looking from the outside going, is this to ramp, your cynical mind goes, is this to ramp up the excitement of it? Is this to do things? But apparently in the contract, this is for 12 rounds. Carl Frampton said, he says, that lawyer, who's done that, it's a horrendous mistake. What do you make of this? And have you ever seen this scenario where they've got the rounds mixed up?
Yeah, I have seen it, but a fight's a fight, man. Do you know what I mean? And if you could do 6 rounds, you can do 8. If you can do 8 rounds, you can do 10. If you can do 10 rounds, you can do 12, right? What was their fight muted when they fought each other in Saudi? I can't remember. What was that? An 8-rounder or a 10-rounder? 10-rounder?
Yeah, it weren't 12 though.
Right? Yeah, I understand that, yeah. But a fight is a fight, right? And yeah, it is a tumultuous mistake, whoever made it. But bottom line, so what? The major thing is that Ben Whittaker is trying to redeem himself from the performance that he put out last time, right? And then also a lot of people will question his heart and whether he bottled it or not. So now he's got an opportunity to put right what went wrong. And but fair play to Cameron. I've been watching these little documentary stuff that's been on. I mean, even though I never channel to you, but big up Boxing King Media, right? It's really good. I know that you've watched it, Matt, because I know you got your eye on the ball. And
I've seen clips.
Yeah, he does. He comes across as such a nice, wholesome human being who's down to earth.
He is. He's great as Liam. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, may the best man win.
The general consensus of that fight that was Liam Cameron was coming on strong. So the narrative that people are saying is, well, if he's coming on strong and he's got extra rounds, then that leans towards him. Do you make anyone a favourite in this after what you've seen in the first fight, or do you go with the consensus that it was an off night for Ben, or that no, Liam's actually better than we think? What's your sort of takeaway from it?
Liam Cameron is a very, very good fighter. Yeah, I mean, you just got to look at his fight with Lyndon Arthur, right?
Yeah, right? Was that?
He put in a gallant display against a man that now, when you look at it on paper, lost on points to Bivol, right? And now Bivol's the undisputed light heavyweight champion of the world. So when you look at it like that, you can say, like, I mean, he's mixed in those companies, even though he didn't fight Bivol, but he's mixed around those guys who have. So that's going to do things. And he handled himself, he accredited himself very, very well. So in this fight here, like I said, for Ben Whittaker, for all the flash and everything else that he has done, right, that's all nice, but you got to produce what you have to produce. And seemingly, when you have, and he is incredibly naturally talented, right?
Yeah.
But when you are that talented, sometimes it's a bit difficult to go by instructions, to go by the book, because you're so used to being a freestyler. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he does that. He can do some genius things, and he's genius. I remember him from the amateurs. And the reason why, like, I remember Keyshawn Davis. First time I met Keyshawn Davis, he was saying like, because like he was still on the amateur circuit, but he just turned pro,
Hmm.
right? Because remember he had a couple fights and he went back to fight in the Olympics, right? Where he lost to Cruz. And Keyshawn Davis was saying, yeah, Ben Whitaker is the guy. Like he was greatly respected in America, right? Because of his style. And he was, you know what I mean? He was doing guys. So, but you also got to remember, like, amateur and pros, two different things. Like on certain things that you can get away with in the amateur, you ain't necessarily going to get away with in the pros. But like I said, the questions are going to be answered when he comes to fights, Cameron, because now there are no excuses. There are no right now. You just put up or shut up, and it's going to be interesting.
He has got a new trainer as well in Andy Lee, who I think's a fantastic mind in boxing, and he's
Let me, let
worked
me,
with some of the biggest characters as well.
Andy Lee is the catalyst in this, whether he's going to win or lose the fight. Right? I rate Andy Lee. Do you know what I mean? And even more so, Andy Lee's not about the camera. He's old school. He's about, you know what? Come, we got a job to do, and let's go and do it. Right? And I've known Andy for years and years and years and years. Right?
Yeah.
So and his dad as well. So it's like now more than ever, we're gonna say like, you know what I mean, it takes a few fights to adjust, yeah?
Yeah.
It really does. Right? But what I know is like with Andy Lee, he's no nonsense. So I believe that we may not see the best Ben Whitaker now, but if he stays with Andy Lee, I think we are going to see the best Ben Whitaker.
Yeah, it's going to be a good ride, I think, the next sort of few years, providing they stay together.
Absolutely.
Need to ask you about pound for pound, one of the best fighters in the world, and I think one of the best fights, I think, for hardcore boxing fans, which is coming up next week. Jerome Boots Ennis is back against Stanionis. Unification, Atlantic City. I think this is an incredible fight, and I think a lot of people saying this could be the real sort of you know coming out party on a big stage for Jerome Boots Ennis. What do you make of this fight? I think it's a great fight.
Dalian is a good fighter, yeah? But there are certain guys that come around and they are actually special, right?
Hmm.
And I believe that Gerard Boots Ennis is one of those guys who's absolutely special, right? Doesn't have
Yeah.
to talk. Only people want to talk. He's not. He's very reclusive. He's not. You know what I mean? Because we've had him on the podcast quite a few times, me and Tundi, and he's that kind of guy. He's not and all the rest of it. His dad's the mouth,
He's
right?
introvert. He's an
Yeah,
introvert. Yeah.
he's very withdrawn. He's very introverted. So, but when it comes to like in there and put the gloves on and like for skill, the guy is a very, very special talent.
Hmm. How do you see the fight sort of marrying up? Is it just a case of levels? You believe that he's a level above Stanionis, who is a world class fighter in his own right, by the way,
No,
as well.
Stelios ain't no mug. Stelios
Yeah.
is a first guy. But I think if you put Gerard Innes in those kind of fights, I think that's the time when we're going to see the best Gerard Innes, and I think we're going to see the best him. I really do. I think we're going to see him. But where Stelios is tough as well. But I could see this fight getting stopped around 9 or 10. I could see it going 9 or 10. Or not even saying a comprehensive, but a comfortable points winner going to Gerard Innes. Because he knows he's got to go out and shock. He's got to go out and do something. Because a lot of people calling his name right now. So let's see what happens.
Who's the guy that can test him then? I say this respectfully, not looking past Stanionis. I'm going with almost consensus on what people believe this man is, which he is, showing up to date. Who is the guy to give him the best test, Jerome Boots Ennis? Is it a Terence Crawford? Is that the levels we're talking?
No. You know what? I'm going to be real with you. You know the fight that I'd like to see? I'd like to see him and Keith Thurman.
Yeah, Keith Thurman's coming off the back of a victory as well. That'd be a good sort of marking point. Yeah.
But I would still like to see because he hasn't had those kind of names on his resume yet, right?
Yeah.
And like a Terence Crawford. Terence Crawford has got bigger fish to fry right now because he's got to become Canelo. But I think like somebody like a Terence Crawford would somebody like a Keith Thurman, because he's on a comeback trail now as well. I think that could be a neat fight.
Yeah, that'd be an interesting one. I'll give you that. Obviously, coming out after that, it's a busy month ahead, obviously, with the Riyadh season stuff, sort of first week of May. Lastly, I just want to touch on Eubank Ben. Obviously, that's now fastly approaching. How excited are you now? We've seen all the build-up, we've seen all the hype. We've seen the Piers Morgan stuff. How excited are you for this as an event, and where did you sort of your gut feeling lie on how this plays out?
Well, it's not really the case like my gut feeling because like originally I asked me, I think, Connor could bang him out because it's so far fetched. Like Connor could bang him out, but I saw the training that Chris Eubank Jr. did with Jonathan Banks, who I rate as a trainer. I really do rate Jonathan Banks, but he's not a loudmouth. He's not. He's another guy. He's like, you know what I mean. Never as
Another
well.
introvert, yeah.
Right, he's very introverted, right? But a beautiful human being, Jonathan Banks. I see the work that Jonathan Banks is also doing with Badu Jack. I was in the gym earlier today and I saw the work that he's doing with Badu, and it's proper. It's inspiring to see how they work, right? So I don't rightly know. Realistically, we just got to be real. Forget about the bigger man. Eubank has been in with the better opponents, the better opposition, right? And I don't think Conor Ben's banking on, oh, you're an old man, I'm going to go do you. I think Conor Ben's thinking like, I'm going to go and I'm really going to stick it on you. But we shall see. I mean, but Eubank is meant to win the fight, but don't be surprised if Conor Ben knocks him out.
Wow, it's going to be an interesting one. It's going to be one of them sort of moments, the I was there moments at Spurs Stadium. Let me just think, what have we got coming up now? I believe Gervonta Davis and Lamont Roach are running it back. So I'm hearing in June. Happy with that? Right. Happy to see that done?
The opportunity for Lamont Roach, who's a very good fighter, right, to have won that fight was last time out. Usually in rematches, when you have those blunders, it really does go against you. We've seen it. I've seen it happen time and time again. And I think this is going to be one of those ways. I think Gervonta Davis needs to get his mind right. And I think in a rematch, he will, because he knows without a doubt the reason why he's running it back is not because I'm running it back because this guy was really dangerous and gave me a run. He's running it back because he thinks his heart's a heart. Like, you know what? I should have knocked this guy out. Mm-hmm. Right? And that's what I'm putting it down to. He didn't have the best performance, right? It was the 8th round, it should have been called a knockdown, and it wasn't.
Yeah.
But such is life, and you just got to get on with it. I mean, it wasn't a diabolical referee, but it was upsetting to see that because I thought like Lamont Roach was robbed of his big chance at glory. Will that happen again? I don't believe that will happen again. I think like he knows, right, this is what I've done wrong. We're running it back, and I think we're going to see the proper tank this time.
Also, lastly, I just remembered Deontay Wilder is coming back. I wasn't sure we'd see. I wasn't sure we would see Deontay again.
I did.
Only because of the performances he's sort of made his money, his marks in history. But he seems like the hunger's kind of come back, and he's still there and still wants to have another crack at it.
He's going to have another crack, and if he's successful in this fight, I guarantee you we're going to see AJ versus Joshua. AJ versus. I am so tired today. You know, I'm still fasting.
Yeah,
right?
Sorry, go on.
I'm still fasting because another 6 days after, and I'm doing it, right? And it's taking its toll on me. Please forgive me, Matt. Right?
You're good. You're good.
Guarantee we're going to see Joshua versus Deontay Wilder. Deontay Wilder comes out victorious, then we're going to see. I guarantee we're going to see that fight because it's still a big fight, right? And it's more of a novelty fight and a sentimental fight. I still think we'll see that because we're not too sure. Tyson Fury says he's back now, but I know that it's still a big money fight, and I can see that fight happening.
Do you think we see the Wilder Joshua before we see a Fury Joshua?
Yes, I think we'll see Wilder Joshua before we see a Fury Joshua. That's what I truly do believe.
Ooh, interesting. It's weird. We were speaking about this fight 5 or 6 years ago, and you know, not at the time, you know, as they were like that. Now it's like
8 years ago.
Yeah, strange.
Right? Yeah, and you know, and this is part and parcel of the sport. So I look. You know, I look forward to seeing like what Joshua's next move is. I'd like to see what Deontay Wilder has left.
Yeah,
but he's a big name. He's still a big, massive name. Irrespective of his loss to Parker, irrespective of his loss to Zhang, he's still a big name. And because of that, it's like, yeah.
Yeah, and heavyweights, we all know. Look at Parker, the defeats he's had to Joe Joyce. Look where he is now. You look at all these things. Parker's the guy, man. I have to say.
Let me tell you this, yeah? You cannot put enough respect and credit on that name, right? Simply because, like, we did. I mean, I was ringside when he lost to Dylan White, right? And he got floored twice in there, you know? but one of the times it was a headbutt. But regardless, he got floored twice, right, in that fight.
Yeah.
And you think, okay, then what's going to happen? So, like, fair play to Parker. Parker went back to back. He lost to Joshua, right, in the unification. Next fight out, he fights Dylan White. He loses that fight, right?
Mm-hmm.
Goes a couple fights on the run, and then, you know what I mean? He fights Joe Joyce, and he takes a bad beating in that fight. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But then when you look at it now, maybe that fight, because that was a hard fight for both men, maybe that took something out of Joe Joyce. We don't know. But what we can say, if you look at it that way, let's be real. So, yeah, all the credit in the world should be given to Josie Parker, and a beautiful human being as well. Really nice guy.
I just about to say, fighting aside, one of the nicest guys you'll meet in boxing as well.
Yeah, so humble.
Yeah,
so humble.
Yeah, I think that's about it, Spence. Look, I know you're fasting and stuff, so wish you all the best with that, and hopefully everything goes well with it. If you're doing another 6 days, did you say?
Well, it's less than that now. I've got another 2 to do. But what I'm doing, I'm going to the GBM show at the York Hall. A massive big up to Izzy.
Yeah, good card.
Yeah, it is a good card, isn't it? That Santos fight, Santos Ray, that's a decent fight, man. I mean, are you down for that?
I'm not. No, look, I've it's just been a busy schedule. I'm up the north, so I'm in the Manchester fight week. So I'm.
This ain't making you leave now after you just come back from America. Forget that one, mate.
Do you know what I'm doing? I've come back from America. I'm straight into this Joe Joyce fight week, and then obviously a few bits at home. But then next week, Boots, and then.
Okay, well, look at that. Look at that.
So I'm grafting.
Yeah, that's really good runners, man.
I'm grafting, bro.
All right, my friend, Matt.
Right.
God bless. Pick up everyone who listens to Boxing Social, and remember to keep this whole thing positive. Peace, 2 fingers. I'm out later.
See you later, Spence.